Listen until we get enough people. I said about that. You into the crystals? I see you already have everything going over there. It's beautiful. But you have the quartz.
Mm-hmm. You get close and then you know my chakras. And then my rose quartz.
We're gonna be talking about some of those chakra beads. It's not gonna be a chakra class, but
Just touch a little bit on it.
just a little bit. Cause
Yay! Right.
then the next class will be all about. The next course will be all about metaphysics.
Okay.
This is mostly on herbs and phytochemistry part of the herbs. But herbs got the minerals, so
That's right.
the minerals are also in the crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Some things we're gonna talk about. Greetings, everyone. Let everyone know that we are live and they can hear everyone. I was thinking about going ahead and actually making the crystal now, or start to actually get it to a melting point.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna wait a little bit. Greetings, E. Nice to have you here. Give it about 2 more minutes, guys, and we're gonna get started. All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I see more people starting to show up. Okay. Well, we're getting close to our time, and I guess we get started. Greetings, greetings. Shalom Health. Shalom Health Institute. Welcome, everyone. This is our first class, our orientation. We're going to be getting more familiar with the website. That's what I really need you guys to do, because there are a lot of articles right there that can help you on your health issues. I have some remedies that are listed there. I don't really write for the website anymore. Back in 2018, I have about 40 articles right there waiting for everyone to just soak in that information. It's readily and available. I wanted to welcome everyone and thank them for being a part of Shalom Health Institute, because this is a very unique class. I try to teach mostly on a level that everyone can understand, especially because these health topics become complicated sometimes, and we need to break them down in layman's terms so we can understand them. And I picked out a couple of lectures or topics that seem to be more interesting to the students that needed to know that information. I really want to thank my assistant. She has helped me throughout this time in helping people get on board with Shalom Health Institute. And I hope everyone can keep up with everything. We got some worksheets out there on the website. You can also use those. And they go along with other classes. So when you log into the website, you'll be able to see some of the archives and also go along with those worksheets as well. So it's just extra classes, extra information. It's just not about these few 8 classes. But this is an introduction right now. I will be doing metaphysics next semester. So we'll be talking about a lot of the different auric fields, chakras, talk about more about crystals, and that's why I'm talking about this crystal class right now. There's a lot of people that needed to get this information. I have right here, what you see me playing with in my hand, is a crystalline structure. It's basically the internal geometry of what these crystals actually have. They all have an atomic structure, a little pattern that repeats itself, and it may come in mostly a silicon dioxide, aluminum dioxide, aluminum silicon. We'll talk about how we get these different structures, polymorphs, and all those different things. So I took a picture on the website. Everybody that's inside of the group, you can go back and look at the picture, because you can try to blow it up so that you can see all of the different information that I have here. But I am going to go over some of these crystalline structures, these solids. Now, when I was in school, we talked about physics. We talked about mostly chemistry. I kind of got more onto the chemistry side, the biochemistry side, but I never really took the physics part very serious. So I didn't understand the different frequencies, the different hertz, the ohms, and everything, and how crystals actually emit energy. So when we're talking about different crystals, say for instance, I have this clear quartz right here. This is also a polymorph. All right, this is a crystalline structure that's double terminated, meaning it has 2 different points. All right, so that means it's going to emit energy from both angles. All right, so both axes. So there's lattices on each side. That means that the silicon dioxide is actually lined up very small, just like how this is, and basically it's lined up on that lattice. All right, so understand that these things actually form patterns and blocks. So there's little blocks inside of here. But if this was a block, all right, just picture this as a block rather than a hexagon, because this is like the internal part of the crystal. But if it was a block, it would actually fill up the space in this room. Okay, so you can picture each block filling up the space of the room. But if it was in a hexagon, you'll see different spaces in there, all right? So unit cells. So this is broken up in different unit cells. And cells actually, they protonate different electrons, giving and changing, and some become unpaired and some become paired. We have different structures that, like iron. Iron may be unpaired, and maybe the iron could be more like a pyrite. Iron pyrites are unpaired. It could be what you call magnetic. All right, so you got hematites that are magnetic, and they're actually unpaired. So certain crystals, I'm going to share with you guys certain things that may be fake. You could be able to tell which crystals may be fake and which ones been dyed, which ones have been heat transferred, like this one right here. When you get an amethyst, everyone knows about amethyst, right? We know that amethyst basically, amethyst actually is a good stone for meditation, keeping you focused and everything. But this amethyst right here, people would say it's not an amethyst because it's been actually in the sun too long. Okay, amethyst likes to grow inside of water. All right, so when the actual starts to diffuse, the gases turn, the liquids turn into solids. It's basically the temperature, the heat, the pressure that's around it that's forming these different crystals. So we were talking about formation and structure. Know that they're, due to their symmetry, they can have a sharper melting point, meaning that it can melt really fast. And I was going to melt one down in here, but I'll probably wait to the end if everybody says they want to see it actually melt down, and then we can form the crystal right then and there. I have some bismuth. It's one of the transitional metals. We know bismuth from what? Pepto-Bismol, right? So you can take a bunch of Pepto-Bismol pills, right? And you can actually distill the actual Pepto-Bismol and get this substance right here. It actually turns black in the stomach, and we'll talk about that another time, but I'll melt that down soon. That's more of what you call a metallic crystalline solid. You can show a little bit closer if you can. It's more like a metallic solid. So it's a lot of copper ions, it's a lot of iron ions in there. They're held together by many different electrons. We also have the ionic crystalline solids, which is the salt, you know, the sodium chlorides. And I will be able to show, you know, we're not doing the actual structures right now, but salt is a crystal. All right, so pink Himalayan salt, all the different salts are crystals. They're held together by this electrostatic force. And also I want to share that water, when it's frozen, is also a crystal. All right, so it's called molecular solids, and they're held together by intermolecular forces. So when they're taking the hydrogen out of that crystal, other elements are actually into that ice. And it's just caused by freezing. So, and then we have what you call amorphous solids. And they don't have a structure, they don't have a shape, they have a wide range of melting points, meaning they can be very, very slow. So we're talking about things like glass, plastics made from oil, petroleum. We're talking about even certain crystals or glass. All right, so you have some metals that can be glass. All right, things like obsidian. Many people didn't know that the black obsidian. And a customer came in today asking me, did I have a black obsidian? And somehow it walked away. And I kept it for myself. But crystals like to go different places. I don't know how they get away from us, but they find a way to get away from us. And I know if anybody knows and has that experience, you know, if you give somebody something or it's just laying there, somehow it just disappears. And crystals like that. So polymorphic solids, these are things that have polymers. Polymers are in our DNA. We know nanotechnology to be polymers. We know fullerenes to be polymers. Y'all can look up those words, fullerenes, nanoparticles. Those are all polymers. And they all have the same chemical composition. They all have the same temperature and the pressure. And these are the same things like inorganic polymers like glass, silica. And we know that our body has a lot of silica in it. And we don't want to put a lot of silica inside of our system. So I don't like to use horsetail. I know some people like to use horsetail, which is a herb that has a lot of silica. Bamboo powder, also, or bamboo extract, has silica. But these are things that help us with our hair, help us with our skin, also help us with our endothelium. But they don't like to come out fast. All right, so when it's coming to the body, you don't want to have things like the diatomaceous earth that has more silica in it, but because they don't come out the body fast enough. It's an inorganic polymer. We need things that are organic polymers, like the proteins made from all these different amino acids. and we need things like the glucose molecules that make up all of the carbohydrates. So when we melt certain polymers quickly, we get an amorphous solid, the things that don't have a structure or shape. When we melt polymers slowly, we get the crystalline solids like the ionic, the metallic, and the molecular. All right, so certain crystals have impurities. All right, certain crystals have impurities, and I want to relate that to like a ruby or something like that. Rubies have what you call, let's go right here for a second. Rubies have chromium. It's a transitional metal, and it turns things red, or it turns things pink. If you deal with a, let's say anything green, like a jade, or a, let's say a fluorite, and it has a green impurities, then you're dealing with the copper right there. So each color changes. And there's a theory, there's a color theory that says minerals that are incorporated into the structure is what gives crystals their color. For example, the red, orange, and yellows, they make everything stronger, they make everything stimulate faster. And the blue, the purple, and the green makes everything cool and relax. So when you're dealing with like a aventurine, the aventurine right here, this is something that keeps everything cool, relaxed, and it also gives you confidence. So I like to hold this when I'm doing my speeches and things like this. The aventurine really works. All right, so these frequencies that you do with these crystals, I'm talking about just tapping, create something called piezoelectricity. And it lets off a frequency within you. And a lot of people don't understand how the electrons actually arrange in different structures and things like that, but they actually emit different energies. All right, so have you all ever seen a crystal bowl, like a singing bowl made from a quartz? This is what this is right here. You can show the people what this is. What this is, you know, a crystal singing bowl. This is another way that you can charge your crystals. Okay, so you don't always have to put things in the sun. You cannot put an amethyst in the sun. All right, you can't put like a selenite. Those are the wands, the selenite wands that you see. You can't put those in the sun because they just turn colors and they will, you know, it won't work as much. So to rebalance this, I would use crystal quartz. Everybody knows that the quartz magnifies it, basically amplifies the energy. So this is going to probably be a little loud once it gets to, I like this bass. Let me take it off the bass. It needs to have a rubber base. So just by emitting a energy, a force, it's called piezoelectricity. And sound energy, along with other things like microphones that you speak into, they also emit electricity. They turn sound energy into electrical energy. They turn mechanical energy. So I'm just messing it up right now. All right, so we understand that you can rebalance the energy of these quartz, these aventurines, these all these other quartz. So I just wanted to share this part here about the pressure that I put onto this quartz, right? I took that mechanical energy and I transmuted it, converted it, however you want to say, into voltage. Now we don't know the actual frequency. All right, so they come in different particular sizes. So different sizes of the crystal is going to emit a different frequency. The shape of it is also going to emit a different frequency. The flexibility, the unique crystalline structure, all of the atomic structure that's there, all of that really depends on, so we don't know the exact frequency of each crystal. One thing you should know, that piezoelectricity up here is stable. It's very stable. Now, Tesla, I know everybody knows about Tesla. We're going to put it on the screen up there for a second. He says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequencies, and vibrations. In a crystal, we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle. And though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. Crystals are alive. Crystals are alive. If you scratch a crystal, you can make something called triboluminescent property. It's a triboluminescent property. It's where the light is actually generated when the crystal is scratched or just, rubbed, and you can see certain light. When it's polarized, you'll see different ways that the crystal is actually on its different lattices. You can see the different auras. And this is also what you call pleochroism, because at different angles of the light, you'll see, it's all about color theory. This can actually emit and make a better aura field for yourself. So as far as those talking about chakras, and it's good to have a aura crystal around, especially when you're trying to make align certain auras. Now, this right here, if you're making a grid on yourself and you had an imbalanced heart chakra, and you want to align your throat chakra as well, so you'll put these two double terminated points, align it with a rose quartz. This is a rose quartz for your heart chakra. And the heart chakra is sometimes green, so you can use some jade sometime for it. This is not going to be a chakra class, but you can use the rose quartz to align your heart chakra. And you can maybe use I have what you call a lapis lazuli right here, and a labradorite. And that helps my throat chakra as well as my heart chakra. And I keep that ankh right there as well. So if you're making a grid for yourself, like you can make a grid inside your home, all right? You can have a grid inside your home to amplify the frequency or either lower the frequency. A lot of us are using the computers and you have a quartz on. What you're doing with the computer is actually amplifying. It's using you as a conductor. So you want to try to block as much electromagnetic fields as possible. All right, so even Tesla said, this is vibration, this is energy. Certain things they use in their generators, they use quartz. All right. Also inside your watches, there is a quartz. All right. It's like a little tuning fork, and it creates a mechanical energy, and it releases it into electrical energy. All right. So there's different ways that it does it. The microphone does it. So don't use a clear quartz near your computer. That's not something you want to put there. You would want to put something that actually protects you from the EMF fields, more like a black tourmaline. Lady bought the black tourmaline today. Only my last one. But it's also good for protection from everything. I'm talking about just raising your spiritual protection. Now I had a EMF reader, and I'm not prepared, so I was going to get the shungite that I had to actually read the EMF frequencies from it. Shungite is a good thing to have in your home to just block off a lot of the tower waves and We want to try to keep ourselves protected from all of the 5G as much as possible. So Shungite black tourmaline is the number 2 crystals to use when it comes to that. Now, like I said, with the Aventurine, this also can be used by the computer. All right, so this blocks out the blue light, and I encourage everyone to make sure that you have some blue blockers on those computers, you know, because it's very important. It's damaging the retina of our eyes, creating some reactive oxygen species. We don't need that happening. I also have fluorites here. I don't think I brought it up here. I do. I have a Chinese fluorite. It's a wand, and that can also be used to balance off your chakra system as well. And a lot of these need to be found like in places like the Brazilian mines. I have connections in the Brazilian mines, and you can find some in I have Tibetan crystals as well. So the next thing we use like a fulgurite. You guys can look that up. I don't carry any fulgurites, but they definitely protect from EMF crystals. I mean, it protects you from the EMF frequencies. So, I want to see if anybody have any questions.
Michelle asked, where did you find the quartz singing bowl?
I'm actually going to start carrying it, but Arizona has a vortex of energy out there. If you go into Sedona, they have a lot of different crystals. You can go mining out there for yourself. It's a beautiful place to be at. Oh, so you'll find at some crystal shops that they have kind of falsified the actual crystal shape. You know, they go into mines and they don't come out as big as those geodes that you see. You see geodes. They have this concrete backing on the back of it. All right, this is natural. That's how it's supposed to look. So, and this is natural. All of them look like that. But when you see them all big and also looking all neat and nice, and they have falsified the actual crystal. So know that. Some people would say that they have found magnetic hematites. Like I said, you will find some, and the way you would know that they are real, if you see a red triboluminescent property, that means it has some iron in there. So, and it should be magnetic once you see that iron in there. So the magnetism produces electrical charges as well, just by the repelling action of those electrons. I wanted to make sure this is really hot. I said we was going to try to make us a crystal in here. I should have turned that on earlier. This is also a hematite, but it's unpaired. This is unpaired. Oh, I can go in and actually go till this. I'm forgetting all about what I wanted to show you guys about the crystalline structures inside of our plants. Our plants also have the chlorophyll there that has been, all of these electrons inside the plant created photosynthesis with the light. So, like I said, light is very important in feeding the crystal energy. All of these different molecules and elements in the plants have crystalline structures. So as our blood. When our blood is up under the microscope, it turns into a crystalline structure as well. And if this coagulated, and I'm talking about blood clots, then you know you have too much buildup of those crystalline structures. Go ahead with the question.
Okay, so someone asked, are you selling the necklace?
This necklace? Inbox me later.
And another question is, what's the name of the stone that helps with confidence?
It's called Aventurine. Aventurine. I think I might have I don't know if I listed that one.
That was one of the crystals I was interested in too.
Okay. Alright, so I did list a couple of things like the citron on the worksheet. It's just, I want to bring today a bunch of positivity. That's why you see me all
Yeah.
jeweled up and everything. But this citrine, it radiates a lot of positive energy. I mean, it brings in so much abundance. Like even if you're just trying to bring in more money, you want to have citrine around, and that definitely helps. And I already talked about the rose quartz. You guys can look up those things because these are things that help us, bring in more love energy. So let me see what else I had over here for you guys. Well, we kind of went over this within the formation and the structure of the crystal. We was talking about them being in different forms. I didn't give you the correct names, but there are like triangular, there are what you call trigonal sites and tetrahedral. We also have in those little unit cells, because in physics they are really trying to get you to understand that all solids have some type of pattern, of a repeated pattern. Whether it's plastic, all solids have that. So, if you see what I'm talking about there, the main three that we always see is the cubic, the face-centered cubic, the body-centered cubic. Those are the ones that we mainly see. Sometimes we find some hexagons, like what I was talking about, the hexagons here. And they have the simple cubic. And this is a salt molecule. This is a salt crystalline structure right here. Now you see what actual sodium chloride looks like. So, I wanted to see if there was any questions.
Olive says, I've known for some who want to cleanse their water. Is it true that you can actually put what's it called, a singe into a water bottle to cleanse it?
Crystal in the water?
What does it say?
Okay, so are we talking about putting crystals inside of the water? Because some people put shungite in their water. It is a carbon type of crystal, just like a diamond is a carbon type of crystal. But yes, I would say yes, you can drink the shungite water. All right, I would not drink a silicone dioxide water. I don't want to add more silica to myself. Yeah, but I would drink the shungite water. Yeah, any other questions?
Oh, shungite. That's what they was asking. Can you put the shungite into the water to cleanse it?
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. All right, some crystals that you want to put by the sun for recharging its energy, you can put the rose quartz, you can put any fluorites there, you can put any pyrites there, and some crystals like to be in the moonlight. So we're talking about selenite. Selenite, I didn't write anything down for that, but hopefully you guys are taking notes. But selenite is good for your moon rituals if you practice the new moon. And that's one of the next classes inside of the next semester I want to talk about, especially on like new moon and all those things. Well, now we know which ones are amplifiers. We know that polymorphs are pretty much amplifiers and conductors. And we know that they actually help boost EMF fields. And any more questions? because we're pretty much almost finished, and I just wanted to introduce everyone to the next class. It's Sunday. It's coming up in 2 more days. We are rushing right through it, and we want to make sure that everybody's taking their notes and can receive their certificate of completion and handle all of the homework assignments. Hopefully everyone is agreeing that we can go ahead and do a fasting regimen together, a 3 to 4 day fasting regimen, all of us together. I'll be guiding everyone. Feel free to call me if your sugar levels drop low. I think that's our 5th or 4th class. But the next class we're talking about the 5 top immune herbs. I mean, we got to make sure that our immune system is strong. That way we won't become sick and around other people that are sick. So 5 top immune herbs that I would use in case of any type of viral or epidemic or anything. So we'll talk about that next on Sunday. I want to thank everyone for joining and also listening and learning. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. It's a blessing.